Hi, this is Dave from Priority Bicycles, and I'm going to show you how to install your Pinhead locks on your Priority Continuum or Priority Glide. Now, before we get started, it's important to know that we always recommend that a professional bicycle mechanic install any bike accessories, or if you choose home assembly, to make sure and have a professional mechanic safety check your work before you start riding. Now, let's get started. For this assembly, you're going to need the 15mm wrench and the 5mm Allen that came with your bike. You should have a Pinhead bag from us that specifically says you have a 3/8 lock nut and an M10 lock nut. It's really important that you have the two different lock nuts for either the Priority Glide or Priority Continuum. And let's go ahead and lay out our parts. You'll have a seat clamp, and that seat clamp may have a shim either inside of it or the shim may have become detached. If the shim has become unattached, notice there's a ribbed side. Slide it in the open side with the channel facing the matching channel. Go ahead and slide that in. Then, inside another bag here, you should find one lock nut that's labeled M10. Let's leave that in its bag for now. Another lock nut, which is a 3/8, your key, and two rubber tips. For this assembly, you're not going to need the rubber tips, so I'll set those aside. Now, you should also have a key tag from Pinhead that tells you about registering your key number here. Your key number is on this 15mm key. It's really important that you now stop and go to the Pinhead website, read their safety instructions, and register your key number, because if you ever lose this key, the only way you're going to get a replacement is by contacting Pinhead. Now, let's go ahead and get started with our assembly. We're going to start with the one that's not in the bag, or the 3/8. Using your 15mm wrench on the drive side of your bike, so not on the disc brake side, but on the drive side of your bike, we're going to go ahead and now loosen the 15mm nut. With the nut removed, you can take the 3/8 or unmarked Pinhead nut and hand thread it on. Once it's hand threaded, you can take the key. You're going to want to hold it in place as you tighten. And for this wheel, you'll want to get it between 20 and 25 Newton meters tight. Great. Now, let's move on to the back and repeat the same process, but this time with the M10 labeled nut. Remove the current nut, making sure that you're not moving the wheel, and install the new Pinhead nut, first by hand, and then using the provided tool or key, holding it in place with one hand. And again, you want to go 20 to 25 Newton meters here. Once both wheels are in place, let's take our 5mm Allen key, and you may want to note where your seat was at. Sometimes a piece of tape does that nicely. And loosen your seat collar nice and good here. Remove your seat post and pull off the current clamp. Take the new clamp with the cut facing the rear and install it. Go ahead and install your seat post. You'll want to make sure this is nice and flush here at the top. Install your seat post, and using your same key, once you have the desired height, go ahead and tighten. Here you want to tighten to 5 to 6 Newton meters. And that's it. Again, make sure your key number is registered with Pinhead, and feel free to contact us, info@prioritybicycles.com, with any questions.